Patrol. Hey, 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 we off the patrol.
Welcome. This is Herspiration Happy Hour, episode 10, and today we are going to be discussing sex, sexual health, and the effects it has on your body and in relationships. So I'm going to introduce my real guest here, which is Pany Nazari, who is a Pelvic Floor Therapist. And then I have a co-host here, longtime friend and mentor to me, Karan Williams. So ladies, you can say hello.
Hello.
So I'm so grateful today because while we have some really good drinks and we're having a hot teeny here at the Falls Church Distillery in Falls Church. You really got to come check this place out. It is awesome. And I was talking to the owner, Mike, and they have something every day of the week. So if you're in the Falls Church, Alexandria, Washington, D.C. area, I'm in the Upper Marlboro area and I'll be coming back here myself. So, definitely come and check this place out. They have some really great drinks. So with that, we're going to get started on our episode. And so I guess the first things first, Dr. Nazari, introduce yourself or tell everybody about what you do.
Absolutely. So my name is Pany Nazari. I'm a physical therapist. Been a physical therapist for a quarter century now. Thank you. And
Yes.
So I'm gonna keep going. My drink came. I got a little distracted.
You got excited.
I know. I got too excited. But so I'm a physical therapist. I started as an orthopedic physical therapist until I was just telling Karen that until I had my own children and had pelvic floor related issues. And like most women, I was like, what is pelvic floor? What do we do? Because even I graduated in 1994 as a physical therapist. Nobody ever talked about it. We didn't have pelvic floor apparently. So we all learned about it as we have progressed in the world of thank you so much, the world of physical therapy. After I started having my own problems with urinary incontinence, pelvic organ prolapse, and multiple doctors telling me that it's something I have to live with in my 30s, I decided, no, I'm not going to do this. So after I started learning, I realized the statistics that 1 out of every 3 American women have some kind of pelvic-related issue, whether it is incontinence, whether it's pain, whether it is prolapse organs. It's like this ratio is too high now to address it, and it became my calling. And I started, and I never thought dealing with vaginas would be something that would give me so much pleasure, but it does. It's wonderful, and I actually see men with pelvic-related issues. Men who had actually with sexual function. Talking about sexual function, I know our focus is women, but I see a lot of men who have sexual dysfunction because of pelvic-related issues, and they go misdiagnosed even worse than we do.
Wow, and that's interesting. And I do have male listeners
Wonderful.
who tune in, so I would definitely like to talk how that impacts different things and why a man should go, or what would make a man go and say it could be something pelvic-related.
Whenever you're ready, I'll come.
So I definitely want to know that. But
Right.
I want to let's talk about really what is pelvic floor therapy. So I've talked about it before previously, but I only know from the benefits of doing pelvic floor therapy myself. But it's hard for me to explain to people what it is. So can you?
Sure. So if you can take the concept of physical therapy, which are experts of musculoskeletal system, neurological musculoskeletal system. So you look at the human body, you look at their muscles, bones, nervous system, and the fascial system that interconnects all of this, right? And then pelvic floor is that pool of muscles that holds your two pelvic bones together, and then in the back attaches to our tailbone, and the front it attaches to our pubic bone. So literally, it's like a little ball of muscles that holds everything in the body. So when, as physical therapists, we're looking at a person with pelvic-related issues, and sometimes people have chronic back pain or chronic sacroiliac joint pain, and it's unresolving. They've seen multiple professionals, different clinicians, and it's not resolving. Then the pelvic floor becomes like that last piece of puzzle because it's so integrated in terms of musculoskeletal system, the nervous system, the fascia from the abdominal wall. So think about your mom who's had a C-section and they've cut her belly open. But that fascia, basically fascia is like a ceramic wrap that goes around the organs, around the muscles, around the pelvis. And if that's cut and not properly healed, all that adhesion can pull at the pelvic floor. So then women can have urinary frequency, then they can have pelvic pain because of the whole. It's a beautiful anatomy, and I really encourage people to Google the images just because I think it's just understanding where it is. So as a physical therapist, if you walk into my office and say, I'm having urinary incontinence problem, for example, because that's what people usually relate it to, it's really, you start digging and people have other comorbidities. They have GI issues, they have chronic back pain, they may have had knee and hip problems even, now we're learning a lot of hip joint issues can refer pain to the pelvic area. So you do a full body assessment with the postural assessment, behavioral assessment, and think of your moms that sit at the desk for 8 hours and then they have to get in the car and then go get their crazy kids and all that balance of what that their body asks for. So you got to look at the whole person and just treat it as like another part of your body. So.
And so, for pelvic floor therapy, what's the start of the treatment? Like, how do you even get to when you see your first patient and you're saying, hey, I'm coming with this, let's say the urinary incontinence issue. What's the first thing that, in terms of treatment, how do you even begin to treat?
So it's a very multifactorial thing. As I said, I've had patients who come in with the incontinence and then you find out there's an ankle sprain that brought the whole thing on because their gait and walking pattern changed and your pelvic floor. So let me start here. So if I tell you what pelvic floor jobs are, maybe it makes more sense. Okay. So it's the pelvic floor is a support system. Okay. It holds our pelvic organs and helps us GI system. Everything is supported upward. Like up to the core, absolutely abdominal, low back. It's a support system. So then you have it as a sphincteric organ, right? So they hold things in for you. They have to relax and open for you to have a bowel movement and have intercourse. And then also they help with the, they call it like a sump pump. It helps with the, it's kind of like with our lymphatic system, pump the fluid out. So when you think about the multifactorial thing that it does, think about when you're running a 5-mile run, their pelvic floor is functioning all the time, and it has 2 different types of muscles. Like they can do a marathon and they can do a sprint type of muscle groups. So they are functioning all the time. Even right now, you sit here and if you take your back off the seat, your pelvic floor works more to keep you upright. So when it's so involved and it's so engaging, so you gotta see. So if you have an ankle sprain and you walk funny, well, you can go up the chain. Does that make sense? Yes. So when I usually get to behavioral stuff, I have to ask about that. How much water do you drink? What are you drinking? If you come in and you say, I urinate every 30 minutes and if I don't make it, I'm going to pee my pants. Well, some of it may be acidic food or, caffeinated drinks and stuff. So we look at it as a whole bigger picture, like in terms of food and behavioral stuff that I mentioned, and then the musculoskeletal system.
That's a whole lot.
That's a whole lot.
I didn't realize it was so...
the hip bones connected to the...
but I didn't know it was so connected. See, now I'm thinking about what life changes that I had that really made, that started with me with the incontinence, which actually started from fibroids.
Oh, yeah.
And after I had them removed, and then, so what about, because you were saying if women have a cesarean cut, that can affect your pelvic floor from the fascia?
From the fascial connectivity, and just usually C-section is a result of pregnancy, right? So 9 months of pregnancy can do you in, whether you have, vaginal or C-section. So that by itself can damage the
What
pelvic
about like hysterectomies when you're cut?
Absolutely. Even the laparoscopic surgeries, one of the speakers that is really renowned in the world of physical therapy, she said, if somebody stabs you 50 times in the belly, it's called synovial assault. But when they do the laparoscopic surgery, they are doing that, they're calling it surgery, So it's a very big damage to internally. So even with the laparoscopic surgeries, if you have to restrict the laparoscopic thing, they really affect the pelvic and the connectivity, because if your uterus is holding your bladder up and you're attached with a ligament to your bones, and they cut those ligaments to take the uterus out, so now suddenly your bladder loses its support. So then you fix get a little messed up. So
It's not suspended anymore
Right.
like it was previously.
Exactly, perfectly said.
Oh my. So then, let's talk about, because I know when people think, when you immediately say, hey, I'm in pelvic floor therapy and I'm doing Kegels or Kegels, which is right.
Where you like.
Okay, Kegels, Kegels, depending on what people want to call it.
Mr. TK will say.
Okay,
Dr. Campbell, right?
And they say, I do it all the time. But like me, I thought, and like you just said, I thought I was doing it right all this time.
Yep.
Not realizing and that there's the breathing, there's a technique to it, and there's literally exercises where you go fast, you go slow, you hold it, you let it go. It's like, oh my gosh, but I've learned the most about my body going through pelvic floor therapy. And that's one of the main reasons why I felt like it was so important to have you here, and I've talked about that before. So for ladies that you think you are Kegling the right way, or, it's a news flash, so we're going to talk about the proper way to Kegel.
Right. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. They did a research, I mean, it was like 2015, they said 1 out of 4 women do it incorrectly. So that's how much it helps.
Come in.
And you said, Pam, some people should not be doing it if they have pelvic pain, and even some people with incontinence should not start right away with Kegel, and that's why pelvic floor physical therapy, if I may be biased, is important, because sometimes your muscles are already short and tight. And your muscles are so overworked that they're short and tight, and if you don't want to tighten tighter muscle, right? So think about your biceps. If it's already here, you can't lift anymore, and if you've already shortened it and shortened it. So we need to assess that a lot of women take their stress down in the pelvic area. It's a very innervated region of our body, both neurologically and blood vessels. And I always tell my patients, if you're clenching your jaw, chances are you're clenching your vagina too. So because you're just that person, right? But to answer your question, I think I just wanted to put that in. That is not always the answer to all problems to do the Kegels. But absolutely, the way you should do it, I usually tell people, start from the bottom, like you want to stop the flow of gas. So you really want to invite your anal sphincter in the body too. And then bring it as if you want to bring your pubic bone toward your coccyx. So then you stop the flow of urine. So for sexual satisfaction and better orgasm and just stretching of the first layer of the pelvic floor muscles, you really want to think about, I'm pulling my urethra in. I have all these weird descriptions that I give to people to see what resonates with them, but usually I say, think of your urethra like it's the head of a turtle, and you suck it in. So that would be the first layer. You're closing the sphincteric layers that are the first layer of the pelvic floor muscles. So closing the anal sphincter, close around the vaginal like the labia, and then draw the urethra. But then if you think about a hammock or a ball of muscles, then you want to bring your 2 sits bones together too, and you draw them all up and in. Some people use the elevator theory. I think it's more of an escalator, because I really want people to really get that anal, that back wall in there too, and lift it all up and in. And like you were saying,
And you breathe out when you're pulling in.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
If you can't coordinate it, though. Okay.
Look, I can't walk and chew gum, so
I'm with you. I'm so with you. My husband literally holds my hand when I'm talking to him. He's like, please don't do that. So no, I'm really with you. But usually, like Pam was saying, you're going to do some short ones and some longer hold ones. So some people can breathe out for 8 or 9 seconds to keep contracting the pelvis, so it becomes very challenging to hang on to it and just breathe normally.
Pull up, breathe in. No, pull up, breathe out.
Breathe out. So you think about pushing the air back out.
Yeah.
You know, if you
That's too much
breathing
concentration.
right.
I'm even trying to sit here like I'm
I know,
trying
I see you
to get
going.
it right.
and that's a very important thing because people think more stronger Kegels is more, effective, like
Right.
suck in their belly or squeeze their butt.
Right.
But really, it's more of a coordination. It's not so much that you need strength, you need more coordination. Because when you and I, well, we don't have a problem, but when people are continent, your brain knows she's gonna cough. Contract those pelvic floor muscles so nothing comes out, right? So after you deliver a baby, or if you've been straining to have a bowel movement for years, or you work out in the gym with really poor techniques, you lose the coordination and not necessarily the strength. So you want to teach people, okay, can you do it? Can you squeeze your pelvic floor muscles before you cough? So that coordination kicks back in, and it's not so much that you're stronger now, you're just well coordinated.
Oh, so that's what changed? Okay, so now that I can hold my urine a little longer, so that means I'm better coordinated.
Coordinated, and you probably are bulking
So
up
you
your
stand
muscles.
up.
Yeah.
know,
you gotta do
better
it.
off.
I do it. No, you gotta do it in all positions. So
Look, I'm just happy that I can hold it for more than an hour. I'm just saying.
Yeah, every 2 to 4 hours is considered normal urination. If people go more often than every 2 hours to urinate, drinking enough fluid, you'd be surprised how many women deprive themselves from fluid because they have to sit in a 2-hour meeting because they don't want to go, right? So then you have a whole spill of problems. Okay, so
I'm intrigued by the fact that it could be something like I had sciatic issues, okay?
Yes.
And then it was down my leg, and it got all the way down to my Achilles, and my Achilles today is killing me, okay? But to think that it could be something and when I was doing physical therapy, and they subsequently said, you're okay, you're released, just do these exercises. To think that they said, I did an exercise, she said, it's just like your Kegels, and I'm like, what the hell does that have to do with my Achilles that's hurting, I know it's all connected, but this is way up here, and that's way down there. So it's interesting to think that, the hip bone's connected to the...
absolutely. And all the
And
way to
having
your
the
neck and
strong
shoulder.
core makes the difference. It really does.
I'm trying to right now to collaborate with a dentist that does a lot of work with jaws and mouth and upper neck because we're seeing that correlation between the pelvic floor and the mouth and breathing, especially if the diaphragm is full.
Or we shallow breathe.
Oh yeah.
We shallow breathe all the time. You're sitting there. When's the last time when you weren't frustrated, you went,
All the time. Because I have the cable.
well, because you're in pelvic floor therapy.
Correct.
Okay, but the average schmo like me, I'm doing good just to breathe. You know what I mean? And to get a full breath in when I'm not frustrated.
Yeah.
It's very
And
You have to think about it.
I tell people to put an alarm on their phone every 2 hours to breathe.
Oh wow, didn't think about that. So I have, but because I have to
But I can't have
Kegel
my
several
phone because
times
of
a
where I
day.
work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kegel several times a day, and then they're in variations between long and then real sporadic short ones. It's like, I'm like, those are the hardest ones. I can do the long ones very well.
Good for you.
But those
They're
short
usually
ones,
harder for most people.
those short ones I can't. It's like, okay, hurry up and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. It's like,
Well, no, by the time I get it all up, it's time to let it loose. And,
yeah, but
it's a lot of real estate work.
But there's there's a lot of technique that go into it, and that's helped and really benefited. So then the other half is even with being honest with, thankfully, one of the things that my pelvic floor therapist, she's also a GYN. So that helps when I'm talking about other female issues, and I'm sure you probably get referred to them after but because she's originally a GYN that now specializes in pelvic floor therapy. I can be honest about other issues that I'm having without thinking, okay, I'm having weird pelvic pain, and you can run every test and there's nothing wrong. Then when I started seeing her, it was like, oh, let's fix this problem. Oh, your muscles are constantly constricted. But then how do you really start to loosen up, I guess the vaginal muscle? I don't know.
Internally, it's
Vaginal muscle.
yeah.
So one of the things that I have, she gave me this little tool. As a medical tool. It looks like a vibrator, but it doesn't do anything. No batteries. It's just looks like a candle. Like a candle's white. It's about this long.
Dilators. Yeah.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay, a dilator. And so now I have to do like exercises where you have to enter it into you, and then that whole breathing thing where you have to pull down, do a Kegel on it, and then when you release, you have to pull it different ways to stretch the muscle.
And it's exactly what it is. It's like you pull your hamstring, you work on the muscle, you go see a therapist, you can get a massage, you can release it, and then you stretch it, and then you strengthen it so you don't pull it again. So it's the whole concept of other muscles that applies to the pelvic floor. It's just, as a society, we don't talk about it, you know.
Definitely.
That's, and you know, if your shoulder hurts, you go to your work. If you tell people, oh, my shoulder hurts, right? Again, you know, but if your pelvic floor hurts, you're not going to go say
I'm going to try that on Monday. I'm going to go into my male-dominated office and say, how was your weekend? It was great. My pelvic floor hurts.
You should imagine.
Can you yet imagine?
They're going to give you a day off like that. They're like,
You can go home, please. You know, these are the men that waited in the waiting room when their wives had children. You know.
Yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
gosh!
Yeah.
But no, just recognizing all of these little
The
techniques
nuances and
and
techniques.
nuances that come along with pelvic floor therapy it definitely helps sex, because now I don't have the same associated pain. But then at the same time, in my mind, when she first gave me this stretcher out where you got to help relax the muscle, I'm
The
thinking,
dilator.
I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. Won't that kind of stretch me out a little bit?
I don't want to be the Grand Canyon.
I don't want it to be easy access, but it doesn't do that. It literally
Because
helps
it's a muscle.
relax
It
the muscle.
constricts and then it
But what
releases.
women wouldn't want tighter muscles though?
Well, you strengthen it properly, right? I mean, literally think about going to the gym, right? You bulk up your muscles by strengthening, you do weight training, you do all that stuff, but then you want it to be nice and flexible, right? So that's what you're doing. You're doing both of them. Yeah.
So then how does having children then affect the pelvic floor in terms of like when you, if you're
Messes it up.
recognizing,
Let's just be honest.
said it messes. I had my sisters on, and one of my sisters have had 4 cesareans, and one has had 5 vaginal births. So, we don't really talk about, different things, but I'm sure it has a significant effect on their bodies, and they probably don't even realize, oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So for women who have had children, and you've had it, you've had a child, and you said that's what called you to your passion.
Right.
What would you just say to women to recognize, to say, talk to your GYN or your doctor about pelvic floor therapy, because these could be some of the issues.
Right. I think the biggest thing I encourage people is to be your own advocate. It's because a lot of physicians, unfortunately, and there are wonderful physicians out there too, by all means, but I have more and more women coming to me every day in tears saying, why didn't somebody tell me to take care of this area? Because they had a problem after their first birth, and the doctor is like, yep, you have a prolapse, yep, you're pain in your pants. But wait until you're done having babies, and then we'll fix it surgically.
With surgery, yeah.
And it's heartbreaking because these are young 20, 30-year-old women that have every potential to really improve themselves. I have had patients that their first delivery was traumatic, like literally I had to hold their hand throughout their pregnancy because they had like a PTSD from the whole surgery. I mean, emotionally, it's been, because if you think about it, either one of you had children?
No.
So it is very glorious experience, quote unquote, right? Everything is going to be beautiful. You're going to plan this perfect experience that is going to be wonderful, and of course the outcome is wonderful. But if you think about, you plan to do this thing beautifully and everything, and then suddenly you tear apart, and then your blood pressure goes, and granted, I only see people who have problems. Thousands of women give birth, and I don't see them because they've had a great experience.
But that doesn't mean they don't have issues.
That's exactly right. They don't. If their aunt has had issues and their mother had issues, so they think it's the norm.
It's norm.
Right. But then these women, it's a PTSD. I mean, I brought some statistics of women who were interviewed during and before, after, and during their pregnancy, and the ratio of women who think this was a traumatizing experience is skyrocketing. It's just you know, you think it's a glorious experience,
Yes.
and it's not. And it's, you know, it turns out to be a problem. It turns out to be longer than you anticipated. Women push for 15 hours, and then they end up with a C-section, you know? So now you're damaging
Oh my God. Push for 15 hours?
Oh, you would not believe the stories that I've heard.
15
And,
hours?
I mean, not actively, but they're in contraction, and, you know,
Yes.
they may have to have 2 epidurals, you know, because it just wears out. And, you know, it's just very
That's cruel and inhumane.
exactly, you know, so it becomes a PTSD. It
Oh,
becomes
sure.
a very hard
Traumatic.
experience. So you need to hold that woman's hand before she has another baby, because we
I
as
would never.
women, no, but I think as women we grin and bear, and we're like, you know, and we forget. I think that hormonally God has made us so, but after we have that first baby and we go through trauma, somehow your brain just blocks it, because I mean, women have 5 babies for God's sakes. I mean, but you know, recognizing that you need physical therapy, not just physical therapy, but heal yourself before you get pregnant.
Sure.
It's hugely, because it is, you're carrying 25, 30 pounds extra, and your body has to carry it. Your guts go from your pelvis to your lungs. You know, think about all this, not just the pelvic floor, all the
You
structure.
got somebody living inside you. Everything has to switch around.
Exactly.
Somebody's laying on your bladder.
Can you undergo pelvic floor therapy while you're pregnant?
Absolutely, absolutely. We don't do as much internal work until the last trimester. The last trimester, with doctor's permission, we do cranial massage to make sure the pelvic floor muscles are nice and relaxed and pliable to get this thing out of your vagina. So, and outcomes are wonderful. And the research that shows that women who have cranial massage and pelvic floor therapy in their last trimester, they may have a small first-degree tear versus episiotomies or complete tears and stuff. So it's hugely helpful, you know. So
Well, that's some good information to put out there, especially for women who really don't know
Right.
about pelvic floor. And so, how long have you been doing pelvic floor therapy?
since 2004.
Okay.
I'm not
14
good.
years.
I'm not good with math. Thank you.
14 years.
I tried to bluff. Years too.
You were only 2 when you started.
Yeah.
And so, even so, for 14 years, you would think that it would be more known, but it really is not.
Just the last couple of years, I would tell you that it's social, and maybe social media has a big factor. Like a lot of patients that I have, it's a word of mouth and blogs and podcasts and stuff, and not so much from physician referrals, unfortunately. And but it's definitely becoming. Oh, the best thing that has happened March of this year is that ACOG, American College of OBGYNs, they recognize the 4th trimester to take care of women
Wow.
after giving birth.
That's beautiful.
That's wonderful, because you know what? Think about it. I'm sure that you're within your
You got postpartum depression,
You have all of
pelvic
this.
floor,
You have a baby.
C-section.
You go see the physician 6 weeks postpartum.
And
That's it. They're like, come back in a year. They're like, oh, yep, you look good. You haven't gone back to work. You haven't had sex yet. You haven't gone back to physical activity. They check you off. You're clear. Then you start doing things, and you're like, oh, crap. You know,
Wow.
I'm not. And they think, oh, it's maybe things are different now. So I should have made mistakes now.
let me ask you a question. Are you affiliated with a hospital or do you do it in private practice?
I'm a private practice now, and I was grateful for the opportunities that the hospital provided me, but for exactly your hip bone being attached to your knee, being in a private practice gives me the opportunity to spend a whole hour with every patient and look at them from head to toe, and not be restricted by so much, because I have direct access. Women can come to me, and then I can refer them back to their doctor and say, these are what's wrong with you, get a referral and come back. I can directly, you can walk in and see me just for 30
Well, there's
minutes.
something comforting about having a woman tell you, I understand what it is, let's work on this. As opposed to someone saying, yeah, wait till you have your next, like you said, so wait till you have your next child, or when you're finished having children, and come back and talk to me, we'll do a little surgery, you'll be up like new. Because my best friend from college, speaking on the subject, I was telling Pam, she had the surgery. She had the bladder tightening, you know, the bladder rejuvenation surgery. And she, for her, it was nirvana, you know, it was, she said that she was talking with someone and she said her friend was telling her, oh, you know, blah, 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 and finally I had this surgery and I'm so glad now because I can go 2 hours without, you know, having to go to the restroom. And She said, what did you do? It was like somebody saying, you know, I got this and now I'm a size 2. Oh, I ate these Cheetos. She's like, oh, give me, where's the doctor, you know? And that is exactly what she did. She went and had the surgery. And she and I have been friends for 45 years, and she didn't tell me she had the surgery. So it's still something that we, you know, we have the scarlet A on our chest, and we're Hester Prynne, and we don't want, you know, we're best friends from college, 45 years, and I didn't know she had the surgery. And she came in December, and we were sitting there at my house having some wine, and she opened up, and, you know, she had had another surgery, and I said, well, you know, I don't know if you've had any other surgery. She says, well, let me just go ahead and tell you. Wine will make you talk.
Exactly.
But, and she did, and she told me that she had the surgery, and she said she was talking to someone who had it, and, you know, just like Pam, like people would hear your podcast and say, oh, give me Dr. Murray's number, I gotta call, I gotta go today, you know? So,
no,
it's the type of thing that, like you said, word of mouth gets.
Education is hugely important.
Yes, I found out from a friend in Maine who was having it done and was having some really, really great results from it. And so she said, you need to talk to your GYN. So I just went into my GYN. Now keep in mind, before I went to my GYN, I was seeing a urologist.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they put me on medication, and the medication helped. But I don't like really taking meds. I'm more homeopathic because I just feel like there's so many side
What are you
effects.
going to do for the rest of your life?
There's side effects, exactly. And so I stopped taking them, and for a while, the medication it still was in my
Still in your system.
But boy, when it wore off, I was back to square
20
one.
minutes, yeah.
So I just so happened on one of my appointments to talk to my doctor about some other things, and so then she sent me to pelvic floor. So just me and the pelvic floor therapist was just having a conversation, and I mentioned about the urologist, and so she said, let's fix that first. Let's fix that, because that seems to be the main issue.
Right.
And I would have never, because I was seeing a urologist, I didn't think it was necessary to see, you know, to mention it to my GYN.
Sure.
To me, they were apples
You
and
don't
oranges.
know what you don't know.
And so just to know now how beneficial it is that medication to me covers things. It doesn't treat the problem.
It masks it.
And ever since then, and now that I know about the pelvic floor and for the multiple things that are on my checklist, that every time I go back, it's like, okay, now let's fix the next thing. And the appointments are not regular, like you just go like every 2 weeks, like you would a regular physical therapist. Like I've been in physical therapy when I had a hip labral torn tear in my on the right side.
Related to your pelvic floor.
That was actually from pole fit, flipping up a pole during exercise. But you know, just talking to her about all of those things and just, you know, being able to fix the problem, not just mask it with medication.
And one size doesn't fit all.
Right.
What's going to work for you and your issues are not going to work for me, where mine started with my IT band. I tore my IT band and I never did PT afterwards. So, you know, then within 8 months, I've got the sciatic going, and then now it's my Achilles, and then I'm doing my cables wrong, and I mean, you know,
And you're not breathing.
and I'm not breathing right, and I'm probably brushing my teeth with a square electric toothbrush instead of a round. You know, I'm probably doing my memo in counterclockwise, and I should be clockwise. You know, you don't know what you don't know.
Yes, I was so happy to learn about it, and so now I'm like an advocate for it.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank
just
you for
thinking,
that.
like, oh my gosh, you so have to do this, and then people are looking at me like kind of weird. I'm like, you just have to talk to your doctor, because I really cannot explain what it is, because one thing I do know, it's not just cabling the right way, because I have other techniques. And then I know that my friend in Maine was hooked up to some kind of machine that told her how strong she was cabling. I guess it was your
that's what
muscles.
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have it's not necessary. I mean, they're wonderful therapists who don't have equipment, but I use biofeedback machine.
Yes, exactly.
This is electrodes that we put on the perineal body, like externally. Some people use the internal probes. But it's basically like an EKG. It's picking up what your muscles are doing. A lot of women with pelvic pain, their pain may have been resolved, but they have guarding and tension. So if you've had somebody, whether you've had sexual trauma or, you know, a really horrible delivery and your muscles were tight and now you're guarded, you know. Anyway, but one thing too, it's not always with deliveries. You know, some women have pelvic pain. I'm treating a young woman, she's 20-some years old, because I did a talk for my daughter's sorority, actually, just to educate women, to tell them, these young women in the college, to tell them what's right and what's not right. And I'd be surprised how many of these young 20-year-olds have had problems with urinary valves and sex. But anyway.
And they're more athletic than they were in my generation.
Right, absolutely.
Okay, which
So they
makes a
have
big
more-
difference.
Right, so definitely it's something that, you know, I lose my train of thought, but
But younger women.
younger women having problems.
And it's not just from delivery.
Right, right. Definitely is something that we need to. Sorry, I lost my thoughts, but definitely it's for the machines, the biofeedback
Oh, yeah.
machine. Yeah. So you use it as an EKG. Like an EKG is telling you how to bring your muscle to build. So the concept of biofeedback is bringing something to your conscious level that is subconscious. So if you've had pain with sex, or your OBGYN, your first OBGYN when you were 15 traumatized you because they were too harsh, right? So they are always guarded. So this biofeedback gives you a visual cue of how to decrease the muscle tone. So which is really an effective way of recognizing what tense feels like. Like you had tense muscles and you didn't know.
I did not
You
know.
didn't know because that your brain is brilliant and it's like, okay, this is the new norm. So you start blocking it as a painful experience. So then this becomes a conscious, subconscious level of your muscle activity. So biofeedback is helpful. Sometimes it could be just a tactile cue. You can just manually stretch it out and be like, do you feel how tense you are? And you're like, that's, yeah. Oh, okay, now that's relaxed feels like. But definitely biofeedback is a unit, something like it's a real-time ultrasound, which is it's kind of like an ultrasound that you normally use, but it's for actually seeing your muscles in action. So for those women who have a heart attack holding the pelvic floor muscles, we can visualize it. You feel it fluttering away, and they're like, oh, that's what it feels like. So let me hold it again. And then when it comes to core and deep abdominal strength training, I use the with machine as well to teach them how to really get the deep muscles to strengthen.
Is there a number like you should be your muscle? I guess should kind of be at like a 10 or something like that, or
No, actually, that's a myth, and it shouldn't be. Basically, some surface EMG machines for the other muscle parts of the body, the 2 microvolts and below is considered normal resting. So, but we don't know that for pelvic floor muscle if that's it. But we want you to get there just because that's what we do, basically. But in order to be continent or to have support or stability, there's no magic number.
okay.
So we use it as a part of an assessment tool, if you will, and just give you that visual cue. But I always tell my patients, don't get fixated. And you live in the metropolitan area. Every woman is like, more is better.
Oh, yeah.
What did the
Type A.
Yeah. What did the person before me do? I want to do it.
She did
better.
6, I can do 15.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I tell them it's just a number. You're only competing with yourself. We want to just build up your endurance. We want to relax your muscles. Just use it as a tool to give you a little cueing, and I don't rely on it afterwards.
So how often should a person see a pelvic floor therapist? Like when you have your clients, how often do they
Come in.
Come in.
So usually for pelvic pain patients, because they tend to be more complicated and require a lot more hands-on, I see them once a week for an hour.
Okay.
And then give them homework to do.
Okay.
And then for those who are incontinence issues or urinary behavioral issues, I usually see them 2 or 3 weeks in a row, still an hour each time. But then I'm like, okay, go work on these and come back in 2 weeks. Because it takes time. It usually takes 8 to 12 weeks, depending on individual,
yeah.
to bulk up your muscle to see results. So if you know what you're doing, there's no point for
If
me
you're
to.
breathing right.
Yeah,
Yeah, see,
exactly.
I go every 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And then
just
hopefully
fine-tune
it's
it.
resolved, and then
Right.
and then we work on the next thing. If I'm not having any issues, I know when I was having, and it was talking about the pelvic pain, she did a manual exam,
Right.
and she could hit everywhere where I was having the pain.
Right.
And then she said, okay, so it's not associated on one side, it was just on the one side, and so she realized that if you feel, like I wouldn't know what to feel for anyhow, but
Right.
if you feel, you can feel how tense. She was saying, you're just basically just like this, you're just all locked up in that area, so I have to learn how to relax. I had to learn how to relax that muscle just on the one side.
Yeah.
And so, and normally what I would do is just easier. I'm gonna just change positions so that you're not focused on that side, and then I can enjoy. But now I don't have to worry about, okay, let me try to turn this way and turn that way to make it more comfortable for me.
Right. But one thing you mentioned about the labrum, your hip labrum, pelvic rotators, hip rotators are part of the pelvic floor muscles.
Just like shoulder rotators.
Right, so a lot of women with labral tears, which we are seeing that more and more during, a lot of women have it now, we just have better tools to diagnose it, have pelvic related issues. So because it's part of that whole, I wish I had brought the anatomy to show you, but definitely there's a correlation between labral tear and pelvic floor related. And I work with a couple of orthopedic surgeons who do the labral repairs, and I'm like, please send those women to me because you can do the internal release of these muscles and their outcomes is 10 times better. So.
Yeah, I don't want to have the surgery, so I just
No,
said,
and it's fine.
look, I am admittedly avoiding. I need to go back and make sure that let me see where it's at. I know they said it takes a lot longer for the labral to heal, and I'm just like, okay.
But just changing your gait, like I told you, I hurt this side, and then my sciatic went up, and then so I've been limping along with this. My Achilles. But yesterday my hip starts to hurt because I'm on the opposite side because I'm overcompensating. So the thing about the hip bone is connected to all the other bones is a real thing, and we don't. I think one of the things that we as women are guilty of, we're so busy taking care of others that we neglect, it's just a little pain, I'll take an Advil, I'm good. And as long as we continue to go, it's not until something actually breaks us down that a lot of times we say, I need to pay some attention to this, you know what I mean? Instead of getting something that can be dealt with in phases to bring you back to where you need to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or you're just outright too busy. You make yourself too busy and ignore the signs that your body is giving you.
And your body's going, hello!
Exactly. But on the other side, on the other hand too, our bodies are extremely adaptable.
And flexible.
And it creates new patterns of movement and function.
Sure.
And then 7 or 8 years from now, you're going to experience that hip becoming arthritic. Because your brain is like, okay, she can't put weight on that right leg, so let's put more weight on the left. And then your left hip is arthritic, you need a hip replacement.
And I'm like, truly. And that is exactly what I thought of yesterday because I had gotten to the point where I was weebles, wobbles, because my gait was off. And I did physical therapy from March until the end of June, and it was good. But if I didn't do my exercises, I could feel the difference right away.
Yeah.
And then they said, okay, you're graduated as long as you do these exercises. I'm like, but wait, my Achilles still hurts. So,
you need to start back.
But it's very interesting because the pelvic floor does not mean, if you have pelvic floor issues, it doesn't mean you had a baby and the baby moved in and set up an apartment. You know what I mean? It can be anything from the issues I have, and I haven't birthed anything but an idea, and to a situation where you deliver triplets. You got issues where if you think you might have to go in the next 24 hours, you go to the bathroom.
No, one of the things, and actually I wrote a blog about this, is women who are very hypermobile, for example. They have a lot of joint laxity in other parts. Their pelvic floor muscles can be on fire because that's a cross-section of our body, right? Your upper body, lower body. Right. So I see a lot of women who haven't had babies, and they can't even use a tampon because they have so much pelvic pain.
Wow.
A lot of young women, endometriosis, a lot of other medical conditions that can cause pelvic related, and that's another myth that people think only women who've had babies are going to have pelvic related issues, and it's not true. I had a patient work in a nursing home lifting heavy patients all the time. She had a pelvic organ prolapse.
Oh my goodness!
The uterus was falling down from all that straining
the lift.
So no babies.
So help me understand this, because I do hear that a lot when they say, "Oh, your pelvic floor has fallen." What the hell does that mean?
That means the disco dance floor ain't where it used to be.
It's about usually pelvic organs that fall.
Okay.
So think about your urethra, think about your bladder, think about your rectum, and your vagina and your uterus. Kind of they're like back to back to back to back, right? They're supporting each other, they're connected.
Each one holds, everybody's on each other's shoulders.
Shoulders, right, exactly. So, but with women, our vaginal canal is an escape route, if you will. So usually the prolapse means kind of like, think of it as a hernia, right? So the tissue that's holding these organs apart, it becomes compromised, right? So the best description I can do sometimes, it's like if you have a layer of saran wrap and you put your fist through it, right? You have that looseness, that lack of support, that it's not the original tension on the saran wrap anymore, right?
Okay.
So now your bladder can fall through that gap. So it's not that it's in the cavity, it's that the fascia is loose enough for the bladder to sit lower, right? So there are women that actually, they are having a bowel movement and they feel their rectum bulging through the vaginal canal.
Wow.
Or the uterus falling through. I know. So it's really
Somehow I didn't think it was that.
No, and it's
when I
really
heard pelvic floor falling, I'm just like,
so pelvic floor itself can loosen up and lose its laxity. So think of a boat that's anchored in, and your water is holding it up. Now, if your anchors of your ropes, you loosen the ropes, you're helping your boat, which could be your uterus, your bladder, is going to sit lower, right? And if your water was oil, it will hold it higher if it's dense and soft and tension. But if it's looser, things going to sit lower. Okay, so for example, me myself, I had a uterine prolapse. My uterus was falling through after the birth of my child. And it wasn't like it was hanging out. You don't have that problem. If it's at that level, you need surgery.
oh, it literally can hang out.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know. I have to tell you, I was a 20-some-year-old new therapist out of PT school, and I'm walking Mrs. Sajeski. She's probably dead, so it's not going to be against HEPA because she was really old, quarter century ago. And she was like, honey, sometimes I'm walking and things fall out. And I'm like, what falls out? And I'm like, a month out of PT school, she's like, in between my legs. And I just push it back in. And I'm like,
Uterine prolapse.
yes. So I run back to the staff room and I look at like elderly physical therapists. I'm like, what falls out between your legs? And I'm like, I don't know. So God, bless her, because then, 15 years later, I have my son and my daughter, and I'm like, poor Mrs. Sajeski, I know now. Mine wasn't falling out. But
Mine wasn't falling out, but it wasn't where it used to be.
Exactly. It's sense of pressure, heaviness in your crotch. It's usually, at the end of the day, if you've been on your feet a lot, you're picking up toddlers, you're picking up, you're on your feet running around, you work out. Women feel this heaviness, and it's usually their organs just sitting on the pelvic floor as opposed to being up at the pelvic cavity. I'm sorry.
I'm still thrown with it. Just shove it back in.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and women do that.
And literally, pelvic floor therapy would treat that to pick it all back up and put it in place.
If it's really,
If it's out, though,
literally
she's got to have surgery.
Yeah. If it's out, usually it's surgical, stuff. But if it's a few degrees, so it's the stages of it. So, and if it's right by the opening of the vaginal canal, and it is as the day progresses, it worsens, we definitely can make a change.
But I would think that would be painful at the same time as it starts to prolapse. Would
It
it not?
can be. Like when I had mine, I literally thought I had appendicitis, because I would get this sharp sudden pain in my right lower abdomen, and they did all sorts of imaging. They're like, we don't see anything. In retrospect now, I think it was my uterus pulling, and it's something pulling on my ligaments and all that, and it was feeling it, and it would be at the end of the day, or if I had a hard bowel movement, so I strained a little bit. So I hope you guys don't mind me sharing
No, that's
graphic stories, but it's
Others may have the same issue.
You're right.
I'd rather it be open, and that's why I said I don't mind sharing like the issues that I've had and what made me go to pelvic floor therapy. Well, I was thankful. I had a friend who was having pelvic floor therapy and was getting all this relief, and I was like, oh my gosh, definitely. So if I hadn't even asked when I went to my GYN appointment, that's what she told me. She said, just talk to your GYN, and that's how
and
I.
thank God your GYN knew about it, because a lot of GYNs would tell you,
The
that
other thing is
happens.
your GYN was a woman.
And then
Which
also,
makes a difference.
but then the other thing was that the pelvic floor therapist that I see is also a GYN.
That's helpful.
So
That's
that was
hugely
really
helpful.
really helpful and made me comfortable to address everything with her, from having pain with sex and having urine issues, or it's just
Right. Because a lot of hormonal changes, women, perimenopausal women or postmenopausal women have pain with sex, and it all has to do with lack of estrogen. estrogen is an awesome thing. I just don't know why we have to get rid of it when we're in our 50s. It sucks. But anyway, so having a GYN that is cognizant of those hormonal changes. A lot of women who have incontinence or urinary issues or even with the prolapse issues, right before their period, their symptoms will get worse because estrogen depletion causes the thinning of the pelvic floor. Everything worsens. And that's why perimenopausal or postmenopausal women are really deprived. They have that vaginitis or issues with the vaginal tissue being thinner and painful sex and all that. But even those women, if they choose not to do hormone therapy, they can get better by doing pelvic exercises or strengthening the pelvic floor muscles, bulk them up, moisturizers and everything to really improve their sex life. A lot of women in their 50s, I know, it gets dried out and it sucks.
But I don't have that issue.
That's awesome.
Oh no!
God,
Niagara Falls, I don't have that issue.
That's wonderful because a lot of women can, and women who have had chemotherapy, cancer, a lot of psycholytic medication like anti-anxiety, antidepressants can really affect women's libido and sexual function. So it's a lot of components that we really need to look at as a woman.
Apparently, it's like hard being a woman. So,
It sucks to be a woman.
So I know we're on some time, so I want to talk about this for my male audience, or my male listeners.
Yeah.
Males can actually have pelvic floor issues as well. I can be treated with pelvic floor therapy.
Absolutely. I've had a labral tear patient that it was not diagnosed. He kept seeing a urologist. They kept telling him you have prostatitis. He was 20-some years old.
Inflammation of the prostate?
Prostate, yes ma'am. And they keep putting him on antibiotics. And this poor guy was having pain with ejaculation, pain with urination, interrupted urination because his pelvic muscles were so tight. So men have the exact same
How did you
anatomy.
loosen them?
Gotta go through the rectum. I know, it's, at least we have that vagina.
Did he have to have surgery? Or
Actually, I wrote my thesis on that. I found a paper for my doctorate was on the case report. We actually killed the onion because his urological and sexual function symptoms were so pronounced.
Yes.
He kept addressing those, and I'm like, something is off, something is missing. Started doing some hip testing, and I'm like, I think it's your hip. Send him for an MRI. Sure enough, it was his labrum that was torn.
Oh, wow.
And his mechanism of injury really did say, because he was doing a deep squat, and he went, and I think he popped his labrum during that. I mean, it takes more than just one, but I think that in any event, he had the labrum repair and he did better. By then, unfortunately, the poor guy, because it was 6 or 7 years of misdiagnosis, he had lost his job, he has lost his fiancée.
Oh, no.
So the psychological component of it was not addressed. And that's why, thank you so much. That's why I think missing the psychologist that you were going to have today as your host, as one of your speakers, it's a very public pain is something that really needs to be addressed by the psychologist and
certainly,
so because it's a very sensitive issue. You're a 20-some-year-old man with a sexual dysfunction because
in your 20s, not a guy.
You know what? But this is good for our audience that are listening. The male audience needs men ignore their health far longer than women do, especially the older that they get.
Absolutely.
And so to them, you go to a doctor and they're just like, they're rule it out as nothing, not realizing it can be something that's much deeper, especially when it's affecting your sexual health. And men are heavily sexual, and so this, at least this gives them some information to say, you know what, wow, I've seen lots of different doctors and I'm on medication, but maybe it's something deeper.
Absolutely.
I have taken saying a pelvic floor therapist. I didn't even know men saw pelvic floor therapists. I thought it was surely a woman thing to treat
I mean,
women, so
elderly,
this is really good.
I'm sorry to interrupt, I didn't mean to. No, but elderly, not elderly, like men even in their 50s and 60s can have prostate surgeries because of prostate cancer and they become incontinent. So pelvic floor therapy helps them a lot.
So it rejuvenates.
No, just teaching them how to do Kegels and strengthen their
do Kegels?
Absolutely.
Everybody can do it. Just you grab in the sphincter and pulling everything up.
They got it's the same.
I did not know that.
I'm strengthening the bowl.
Oh yeah, I understand that now, but I mean, when I think
you think Kegels, you think female.
I think vagina. If somebody says Kegel, I'm immediately think
female.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't, but I would have never even.
So you can start calling it pelvic floor contractions. Call it something.
Yes, I have to call it something else because now I found out a bunch of new things. One, men and you can do Kegels, so that's
And
amazing.
it helps them, they last longer.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Did you hear that?
Did you
Brett?
hear that? Just saying. Not that he probably needs to go any longer. So he might Kegel and not even know it. So, you know, also let's talk about, you know, just a way to enhance sex with. So, I mean, even if, I guess some people even just think they have sexual dysfunction. Doesn't mean it could be contributive to, and maybe they don't enjoy it because of issues that they might have.
Right.
And that's one thing with addressing pain with sex, or, you know, not being able to orgasm as strong because their pelvic floor. So, I mean, would you treat someone like that?
Yes, I mean, in terms of it won't be the only reason they come in usually, right? But definitely, if you have pain, you know, obviously it's not enjoyable, right? It becomes a chore for a lot of women. It's something they got to do to keep the relationship.
Right.
And I think that's a sin. I usually tell my patients, I say, bring your partner and I'll talk to them. Because it's really, sex, you know, our pelvic area is meant to give us pleasure, right? It's for sexual pleasure, it's for good poop, it's good to empty your bladder, you know, it's all of that gives you good pleasure. And if it becomes a source of pain, it becomes a very emotional component. But you brought a very good point earlier on, it's about intimacy. So I tell my patients, back off. Don't even attempt to have sex, because if every time your brain is going to see that penis and say, oh my God, there comes a pain, then your association is, or not even, you know, there are, you know, homosexuals or, you know, women who are with another woman, and it could be a vibrator, it could be anything that gives you pain. It should not be painful, right? And it's something that builds another function of the pelvic floor muscles. Sorry, I forgot to tell you, but I'm sure you know. It's increasing blood flow during orgasm.
Right.
So, yeah, so that's how you get orgasm.
breathing, yeah.
It's bringing blood flow to the area, to the clitoral area, is provided by pelvic floor muscles.
Okay.
So think about that new mom, and I'm sorry, I have this really passion for moms because I went through what I went through, and people think it's not my problem. But think about that woman whose episiotomy cut through those muscles that is supposed to cause clitoral erection, and you know, so now they can't get there, and it's not only painful, but now they're, you know. So literally, you know, you got to stretch the same muscle, break the scar tissue, you got to give them that pliability and flexibility so the muscles can pump the blood in there and give them the enjoyment that they deserve.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, that sounds like a whole lot to have to
But
do.
it's not. It's sometimes, like you said that about yourself. You said 2 or 3 weeks, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh my God, that's so much better. So if I can catch that woman, I have a lot of women that I beg them, I'm like, 6 weeks postpartum, come back. Let's just do assessment before you have sex. Let's just see. I'd rather give you pain than your husband
Sure,
or your
the
partner,
partner.
right? Because you associating pain with me is so much easier to brush it off than, you know, in your bedroom.
Sure.
So, and I'm just breaking that scar tissue. You know, we've all had the scars. You've skinned your knee, right? And you know how sensitive it is. The nerves are hypersensitive. The muscles are hypersensitive. Just calming it down and relaxing it and just experiencing better sex life. You know, like you said, it's a stress management.
It is.
You know,
It's definitely a stress component, and I think that I know I have friends that don't make time for it, not realizing how much it is needed, and then sometimes I do have friends that'll just say it's not the same after they have kids, or
Right.
it hurts after they have
Or you're
kids,
distracted.
and I would have never associated. So now when they come to me and they have those conversations, I'll just say, you know, you might want to, you know, go to
Consider.
pelvic floor therapy just so that you can at least be checked out.
right.
At least be checked out, because I will be honest, I don't feel like a lot of medical doctors know the real benefits. I think they're so busy trying to medicate you that they don't realize the
Right.
treatment
Or
portion.
they've got so many patients, you only have 15 minutes.
Right.
You take an hour with each one to peel the
Yeah.
onion back.
Exactly.
And that, it takes time to peel an onion.
Exactly,
do.
and if you're a patient, a lot of my patients, I've seen multiple clinicians, and it's really emotional. It's really because
Oh, yeah.
they've never been validated. They've never been told that this is a real thing. It's in your head. Go drink some wine. Go do this. I mean, really, it's a truly wonderful thing. I can get a little ugly and say if it was a penis, they would take another care of it. I'm sorry, you know.
That is true. Yes,
You
that
know,
is very true.
so yeah,
So that's a lot of great information, and so look
We can
there.
do part
the
two.
whole, I know I'm going to have to. I mean, I'm going to definitely
What are
have
you
to look.
looking at?
Oh, I'm looking at the
Look
time.
at time.
It's like 58. It's already at 58 minutes, and so I do want. I always end where one of the things I ask is a shot of perspiration. What information would you give out there, or advice you would give to women or tips? What are the top 3 that you would give to, and really men or women at this point,
right.
that will help them along this journey of just their sexual health?
I would say healthy muscles don't hurt. Okay? Healthy body doesn't hurt. Hurt is not okay. If you sprain your ankle, it hurts. It has a reason. But if you suddenly have pain, it's not good. That's number 1. Number 2 is put yourself first. Because sometimes you gotta do that. Sometimes if moms, women are the CEO of the house, chief everything officer, in my opinion. So if you are not healthy, the rest of them are not healthy. Urinary incontinence, fecal incontinence, urgency, frequency, urinary frequency, going to bathroom more often than every 2 hours. Until you're 70 years old, if you're waking up at night to pee, these are not normal.
Me right now.
Okay.
I'm in therapy.
You're in therapy.
Yeah.
Right. And
Now it's interesting that after all of this, she said urinary and fecal incontinence.
right. Yes. And that's the thing. A lot of people have comorbidities that they come in. So they come in and they're like, I'm here because I pee too often. I'm like, oh, how's your sex life?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, that's painful. Well, how do you poop? I've been constipated all my life. And a lot of women think they're constipated, but they just can't relax their butt muscles. That can be episode 2.
Oh gosh,
Going
yeah.
to the other side. Going to the back side.
Yeah.
We can talk about that because that's a huge factor. GI issues and bowel movement play a huge role in pelvic floor health. So we can talk about next. But that's definitely those are the things that I would say. And orgasm with penetration is overrated. I think women need to find what pleasures them and find other ways to get there. So, but having an orgasm usually means that your pelvic floor muscles are working and definitely work for it, one way or another, So that's
It's worth it. Go for it, girls. It's worth it.
I know that was. I mean, you all heard these tips, and this is amazing. What about you? You have 3 tips that you would just
Learn how to breathe and do it properly.
Yeah.
Number 2, make time for you.
yes.
And then number 3 is you're not alone. Would you say 1 out of 4 women are doing the exercises improperly or have issues?
Right.
So there are 3 of us here, and the empty chair, whoever that empty chair is, so
One
they
out
have
of
the
3
issue.
have pelvic floor related.
Oh,
One
I
out of
wouldn't-
4 does it incorrectly. So
Yeah.
there's your
So-
statistics. Yeah.
If you do it incorrectly and you have issues, almost got the trifecta. So
Yeah.
I will ask people to, next time they're at the dinner party with girlfriends, to start talking about Kegels and see how many eyes widen. That's
Yes.
usually my cue.
Yes.
How many people have problems.
Definitely.
did you know you're supposed to breathe in and breathe out when you?
Exactly. And so, where
This
can
is
people,
good.
where can people find you, or follow you, read your blogs?
So I'm on infancy. I just started my own clinic in February. My
good.
website is called Physiowellness VA. And
Physiowellness VA. Okay.
PHYSIOWELLNESSVA.com. My daughter wonderfully helps me with all the social
Website.
media stuff because I'm so bad. And but I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. I'm trying to kind of get it going. But my biggest passion is advocacy for women's health and just really educating women and
That's
men
beautiful.
and men to understand women.
Sure.
Definitely.
And believe it or not, you will be able to have access to all of Dr. Nazari's information via the podcast and our website, and I'll make sure and put it on everything so that they would have it, be able to contact you even for questions.
Absolutely. I'm always making myself available via email. I answer questions regardless where you in the world you are. I just think women have to live a healthier life.
And I
I
find
think that's
value,
beautiful.
and it is so important. And so for the Herspiration brand, you can find us at Herspiration on both Facebook and Instagram, and online at www.herspiration.com. The other thing, you can also catch these podcasts on iTunes. Let's see, so many of them now. iTunes, Podbean, Buzzsprout, Spotify, listen notes, and there are some episodes that are posted on SoundCloud. So, I mean, feel free to tune in. We also have a YouTube channel that I do sporadically post videos of the sessions with. So, you know, you can become a part of the group. And then we're growing, so hopefully, you know, we have an opportunity to be live broadcast where people will be able to call in. So always stay tuned, and you know, we are going to have a definitely second segment because you know, then we talked about the front, and we're going to talk about the back. So on
It's
that,
a global connection.
so on that,
I'm very thankful.
Oh, thank you.
I'm thankful.
No, the fact that you are out there and doing this, I'm gonna get choked up, but I'm really grateful that you care enough to go out of your way and do this. Seriously, sincerely. I read your body, I looked at it, and I'm just super grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Being advocating. Yeah, thank you.
And I'm going to have her back again because this was so good. I mean, it's such great information.
Give the
And so-
website one more time.
Physiowellness VA.
Physical
Dot
Wellness
com.
VA.
.com.
Yes.
Physiowellness.com.
Don't laugh,
VA.
it's primitive. I'm working on it.
But it's okay. You
It's
know,
okay.
The whole point is that you will be able to be in touch. And so I will have
Yes.
all her information available on all of our platforms so that you will stay informed. So, and then she'll be back again. So have a great evening, and we're going to finish having our drinks and, you know, wrap it up from here. And until the next time, have a wonderful happy hour.
The Patron. Hey, we off the Patron. Hey, 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 we off the Patron.